Now, let me turn the mirror to you. What feedback have you brushed off that might actually be a blessing? What conversation have you avoided because you're afraid of what you might hear? Where are you choosing comfort over clarity? Leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing. It's about being willing to grow, willing to own what's real, willing to become who your people need you to become. Are you ready to unlock growth, build resilience, and confidently take the next step in leadership, career, and faith? Welcome to The Next Move. I'm Orvin Kimbrough, a CEO, author, and leader with a passion for helping people and organizations thrive. My journey from foster care to CEO has fueled my mission to help professionals scale their confidence, leadership, and influence through mindset shifts, expanded networks, and bold action. Each week, I'll share reflections ripped straight from my blog to inspire and empower you with actionable insights. Let's get started and make your next move your best move. Welcome back to The Next Move, the podcast where we explore faith, leadership, and personal growth to help you take your next step with purpose and confidence. I'm your host, Orvin Kimbrough. Today's episode is about something leaders talk about often, but rarely do. It's about inviting the mirror in. I'm talking about radical feedback, the kind that stings, but also stretches you. Recently, I did something that made even me a little uncomfortable, just a little, not a lot, little. I went through a full 360-degree feedback process, not just with my exec team, which is customary and typical, but with my entire organization. Yep, I opened the door wide. And I want to tell you why. Let me start with a question that's been sitting heavy with me lately. Why do people think what they think about you as a leader? Is it based on something you said or something someone else said about you? Was it from a real interaction or an assumption? Because whether you like it or not, perception forms even if people have never sat across from you. And in leadership, perception may not define your worth, but it does shape your influence. So, why did I do a 360? Well, over the last 18 months, I've participated in several 360-degree sessions for other people. But they were all for these other leaders, and that time was not about me, but this time was about me. It became very personal. Our human capital committee and our governance committee also encouraged it, and I agreed. But I didn't stop at the executive level. I opened it up to the entire organization. Why? Because I don't just believe in feedback, I believe in truth over comfort. And here's where my faith intersects with leadership. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you and lead me along the path of everlasting life. That's found in Psalms. That prayer is not a passive prayer. It's a bold ask for reflection. It's a bold ask for accountability, for redirection. And for me, that's exactly what a 360 is. It's a modern mirror that shows you what's there, and what might be missing. So here's the thing about feedback. When you open that door, you get two things. You get two things. You get gems, those affirming words like, this is where you're strong. This is where you shine. And you get jabs, the quiet critiques, the things folks won't dare say in your face, but maybe whisper when you're not in the room. But folks, both are gifts. Gems build your confidence. Jabs build your character if you're willing to sit with them. I remember not too long ago, a leadership assessment once told a colleague, if you don't believe the feedback, go home and ask your spouse. So he shared he did, and she confirmed it before he even finished the question. That's real. That's humbling. And that's helpful. Years ago, I was in the final round for a global nonprofit top role. And as part of that process, I went through a 2-day leadership simulation with Korn Ferry. It was no joke. Case studies, financial modeling, mock interviews, employee meetings, live feedback. It was designed to reveal how you lead when pressure hits. And what I learned wasn't about my weaknesses, it was about what I didn't even know to look for, because that's the danger, not weakness itself, but being unaware of it. When you are blind to your blind spots, you lead like everyone can see what you can't. And that's risky. Let me share with you what I've come to believe. Growth oriented leaders do three things. Number one, they look outward. They study themselves through the eyes of others, not just for validation, but for truth. And they absorb, not just defend. Number two, they discern the data. Not all feedback is equal. They spot the gems and they mine the jabs. They know when you're out front. They know when you're out front. They know when you're out front that you'll take hits. But they still ask, what can I learn from this? And number three, they act. They don't just reflect and file. They choose a few things to work on internally and externally. Folks, then they do the work. Now, let me turn the mirror to you. What feedback have you brushed off that might actually be a blessing? What conversation have you avoided because you're afraid of what you might hear? Where are you choosing comfort? Where are you choosing comfort? Where are you choosing comfort over clarity? Leadership, well, leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing. It's about being willing to grow, willing to own what's real, willing to become who your people need you to become. I hope you caught that. That's why I did this 360, not for optics, but not because I had to, but because I want to lead to the next level. And I want to lead with courage. I want to grow to the next level. I want to lead with courage, with clarity and compassion. And maybe, just maybe your next move isn't about a new project. It's not about a promotion or a product. Maybe your next move is to pause and ask, who am I really? Who am I really? How do others experience me? And am I willing to grow into someone even more whole? Am I willing to grow into someone even more whole? Thanks for tuning in to The Next Move. If this episode sparked something in you, I'd love to hear about it. Have you ever gone through a 360 or any kind of evaluation? What did you learn? What surprised you? What changed? What challenged you? Let's keep growing together. I'm Orvin Kimbrough, and I'll see you the next time. Thank you for tuning in to The Next Move. I hope today's reflection inspired you to take the next step in your leadership, career, or faith journey. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need a little encouragement this week. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you'd like more reflections or resources, visit orvinkimbrough.com or theaccidentalbanker.com. Until next time, remember, every step you take brings you closer to thriving. Let's keep moving forward together.